Have you ever noticed that a year feels much shorter today than it did when you were a child? Back then, summers seemed endless. School years felt long, and waiting for a birthday could feel like forever. But as we get older, something changes. Months seem to pass more quickly. Years start blending together, and before we know it, another birthday arrives, another season ends, and another year is gone. Many people experience this, and it often raises the same question. Is time actually speeding up, or is it something else happening inside the brain? The interesting thing is that your brain doesn't really measure time in hours. It measures it in what it processes, in information, and in moments it has to register and store. And it changes the feeling of time, because when your brain is processing a lot of new input, time seems to pass more slowly. Not in how clocks measure it, but in how you experience it. Think about situations where everything feels unfamiliar. A new place, a new environment, or any moment where you really have to pay attention. In those moments, your brain works more actively. It picks up details, compares them, and stores them as separate memories, and that makes the whole experience feel longer. Now, compare that to childhood. When you were young, almost everything was new. New places, new faces, new routines. Even ordinary days didn't feel the same as each other. So your brain was constantly recording things in detail. It wasn't filtering much out yet, and it wasn't running on autopilot. It was simply holding on to much more of what was happening. That's why childhood often feels so long in memory. Your brain was just storing more of it. This is where things start to change, because as you get older, fewer things feel new. You stop noticing details that once stood out, not because they disappear, but because your brain has already seen similar patterns before. It starts to simplify, recognize instead of fully register, and predict instead of carefully observe. Daily life becomes more familiar. The same routes, the same routines, and the same types of conversations. When something becomes familiar, your brain no longer needs to process it as deeply. It stops storing every small moment as something separate. It blends them together, so whole days start to feel less distinct in memory. That happens because less of it is being recorded as new. And this is where the real shift happens, because there are actually two ways your brain experiences time. One is the time you lived through, the other is the time you remember. When you are in the moment, time is about attention. How focused you are, how many things your brain is processing at once, whenever something feels new, intense, or engaging. But when you look back, time is different. Your brain doesn't replay every second. It only keeps selected moments. So your memory of time depends on how many separate markers your brain stored. This is why 2 weeks can feel completely different depending on what happened. Your everyday routine can disappear quickly in memory, even if it felt completely fine while you were living it. But a period filled with new experiences tends to feel much longer when you look back, because your brain saved more of it as distinct moments. That's why time isn't just something you experience. It's something your brain builds from what it chooses to keep. So maybe it's not that time speeds up. Maybe it's just that fewer moments stay with you.